Okay, microphone on, kinda. Testing, testing. I guess it's okay. Geez, look at this. The chat's already full. What's going on here? Time zones. No, Tuesdays never stream on Tuesdays. Never. Tuesday for me, maybe Monday for you. Look at this, already one full page of chat. Good morning, guys. You know where we are, you know what we're doing, no surprises. In fact, I think it's exactly, that's where I left off on Monday. Put the knife down right here, pick it up and continue. There's been no time to carve. Just pick up where we left off. This is now way behind schedule. But, it'll be ready for January for the people who want to collect it, but we need to get going on our information, you know, the website and the video about this series and stuff like that, long before January. Good morning. Let's look at this. All the good mornings. Well, guys. Guys, I keep saying guys, whatever. I think it's generic. I don't know. Whatever. Guys and gals. Guys. Crows are busy out there this morning. What is this? Isn't it a garbage day? No, I don't think so. But the garbage out, of course, it's got to be secured. The pickups start at 8 in the morning, so we're supposed to put our garbage out just a few minutes before that starts, you know. If we put it out too early, the cats and rats and crows start getting to it, of course. So. good thing, you know, my kids are grown up and stuff and all gone, because I can imagine, you know, my kids. If you can imagine, he's going to school today and somebody asks her, what does your daddy do? My daddy spent the day carving blacksmith's legs. You know, like what? How do we spend our hours on this earth, you know? Whatever, it's going to be a nice print. They're going to be fun, beautiful prints when they're finished. The fact that the themes are kind of trivial is no big deal. I'm not bothered about that. The prints themselves will be beautiful objects. That's what we're here for, at our end of it here, you know. For me, these themes and pictures and stuff, they're just excuses to hang the prints on. Here, a question. Give me a sec, just finish this box here. Which I think there's a couple of questions. People dropped questions in the box yesterday while there was no stream. There's a couple of questions there. I don't know what they were doing, watching nothing, or watching back numbers or something, I guess. Okay, let's see. What do we got? What's the stream here? Look at this. Talk. What are you guys talking about? Oh, the woodblocks yesterday. Yes. A bit of story here. Just give me a minute on that. Let's hang on a sec. Is the quality bad? I'm showing no drop frames at my end. If you're having trouble, I think it's somewhere else. So now, let's see. Okay, question. Where are we? Yeah, asking about yesterday's blocks. I guess should we talk about it, I guess? Okay, fair enough. I know I mentioned, you know, yesterday that there'd been a, what's the word? Yakuza involvement and stuff. We had no dealings with anything like that yesterday. These blocks, I know, for those of you who don't know, I know, I went to see yesterday some old carved wood blocks. We're not talking about old in terms of Edo era old. These would have been carved in the 1950s, 60s. They're post-war blocks, reproductions of Edo era prints. And they would have been carved for or by the Takamizawa company. Through the 20th century, there were 4 or 5 major companies making reproductions of ukiyo-e. Takamizawa was one of the top ones. Adachi, Takamizawa, Yuyudo, Oedo, Hangasha, Tanseisha. There were a bunch of companies. And Takamizawa was one of the leaders. People would have maybe thought the leader. They made some beautiful, beautiful reproductions. And they collapsed in the, it would have been late 70s or early 80s. I'm not sure. I wasn't involved in their business or anything. They collapsed. They got debts. They went bankrupt. A lot of things went wrong. And when they finally did, at the end, as they were collapsing, a lot of their assets were seized by people who they'd been in debt to. And some of those things were, obviously, they were taken over by the Yakuza. But that's a long time ago. And these blocks, as we saw them yesterday, have changed hands and changed hands and changed hands. So the guy we talked to yesterday was nothing to do, as far as we know, was nothing to do with that kind of person. So you can sort of erase that part from the story. We weren't dealing with, the back room of a Yakuza Don's house surrounded by people with guns and stuff. There's nothing like that at all. Just a guy in the second, third floor of his workshop who's got a bunch of these old Takamizawa blocks. That part of the story is divorced, so sorry to know. But the blocks themselves, these were carved, as I said, 1950s, 1960s, and they are in beautiful, beautiful, beautiful condition, stunning condition. They've been used. They've had many, many prints taken from them, but they're not in any way worn out. They are in whatever you'd call them, the prime of life. And they were made on such beautiful, high-quality cherry that even now, after being sitting in a storage room for like 50 plus years, they're not warped, they're not split, they're not cracked, they are beautiful. The back sides of each of these blocks, which are blank, they're carved on one side, back sides are blank. And I'm drooling over the quality of that wood. I mean, even if these print designs weren't of any interest to us, these blocks are of interest to me as pieces of raw wood. The first surprise we got when we got in the room to see these things, he had a bunch of them all laid out on tables. He was waiting for us to get there, and he got what do you call the kind of tables? Meeting room tables with newspaper on them, and laid a bunch of blocks out. And all the blocks we saw yesterday, with no exceptions, they're all from what you call shoki ukiyo-e. Shoki, early, what do you call them in English? The early ukiyo-e, before they had developed color printing. If somebody's, whatever, can I ask somebody to pop up a link or something? If you search for the word, actually you'll probably misspell it. Let me just type it in. If you go somewhere and search for this word, kaigetsudo, search for that word with ukiyo-e, and you'll get the kind of images and prints that were representative of this batch of blocks we saw yesterday. They weren't all by that artist or that group of artists, but they were all from that era. These are not your Utamaro Hiroshige Sharak famous ukiyo-e, the Great Wave and stuff like that. This is from an era long before that. So all we saw yesterday were black blocks. There were no color blocks at all. These weren't sets of 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 blocks for printing a multicolored wood print, And we were like puzzled about this because Takamizawa published all different kinds of work, So what's going on? Why have you just got this one? And he said that when he got these things, there were many, many hundreds and many, many thousands of blocks in the batch that he was inspecting, and he couldn't afford to take everything. So he just took the ones that he had personal interest in, which was this particular style. That's the story we hear anyway. So okay, no problem. These are beautiful objects. They're usable for printing. And do we want them? Yes, we want them. With a caveat, out of all the stuff we saw yesterday, the dozens and dozens of blocks, maybe they were 40 or so altogether, I don't know exactly. There's none of them that are things we could quickly sell in the shop. So this affected our conversation yesterday. Shall we buy these things, calculate how much we can spend, put the money on the table, buy them, bring them home? We like to do that, but none of those prints can quickly be turned into revenue. We could take impressions from them here, but getting them into a form that is saleable in the shop, and I'm going to get there's 2 or 3 streams to this. One is these prints are huge. They're 60, 70 centimeters tall, 30 centimeters wide. They're like 2 feet tall by 1 foot wide for those of you who do feats and stuff. And our experience in the shop here today is prints of that size really do not move well here in our shop. People want smaller scale decorative items. We've had a few Kaigetsuro prints in our shop, and they sit here for months and months and months and months. So even if we buy those blocks from this guy, get here and take some impressions from them, the money we spend on the blocks is not going to come back to us in any way. So we want these blocks as research material, as study material, as collectible material. But my problem now, how to manage the money, is that even if I go and buy them from the guy right now, that money is gone. You know, it's for my own personal collection rather than for something we can do for business here. So that's a real barrier on how much we can afford to pay for them. If we could soon put them into service and start printing from them, yeah, then we can count on that money to help pay for them. So that was the barrier yesterday. For the 40 blocks or so, he didn't put a clear number on the table. It was all, you know the kind of negotiation. Nobody wants to put their number on the table first, you know. So he's waiting for me to make an offer. I'm waiting for him to give me a hint about like how much he thinks these things are worth, you know. We guess he probably paid 100 or a few hundreds for the things back when he got them about 15 years ago. And he is now thinking they are worth 15,000 or something like that. Speaking in dollars, he thinks they're worth about $15,000. And we have real mixed feelings. I know. Worth money to who, you know? They're worth something to us because we could print them, we could use them, we could put them into service. To an antique dealer, they're worth nowhere near that much because people would just buy them as curios with no specific value. To somebody 100 years from now, these things are practically priceless. Wonderful prime examples of carving from the last era of ukiyo-e reproductions before it all died, you know. So I don't know what to do. You know, we would like them, and he knows we would like them, and we've told him yesterday, let us go home and think about this, and we'll come back to you with an offer. Actually, we got some pictures yesterday. I don't have them here. I'm sorry. My associate Doisan went with me, took the pictures. I should have got some copies of those. So I don't have any pictures I can show you. I'll get those ready for maybe tomorrow or something. So I have some pictures to show. But I do actually have, other than pictures, I do actually have 2 of the blocks. I don't know what you know about the backstory here. The reason we know about these is because he put a couple of them up on Yahoo auction last month. And they didn't sell. We contacted him, made him an offer at a lower price, and he sold them to us. So I have 2 of them here. Should I do that now? What should I do here? What time is it? Oh, you're talking. I get to do it. I don't know what you linked to, but if you've linked to the word Kaigetsu, okay, let me see if I can show you one here. I've got it right beside me. This is one of the 2 that I bought from him last month. I don't quite know how. I'm going to have to do it here. I can't do it through the main camera, so hang on a sec. Let me get this thing out of the way. Is this showing? Let me put another light on. It might buzz in them. I just dropped the microphone. Anyway, can you see this? Can I get some light on it? It looks black, doesn't it? I'm trying to figure out how I can get the light on this thing. Is it visible? So we got a standing woman. This one is a print by, somebody's linked to the website there, ukiyo-e-e.org. If you go to that website and if you look search for the word Masanobu and horse, Masanobu horse, and it should, I better do it because it's excuse me a second here. Yeah, there it is for the main camera, né? the main camera here and zoom out. Is that better? Let me try with the light off too. Give it more general light. Give us a minute to focus. Here we are. There we are. That should do it. Let me try and find a link to this exact image. It should take me a second to find this. Just a moment. Can't reach the keyboard. .org. Got it. Has somebody got it? Is that the same one? Mr. Rylock? I just poked my... Yeah, that's it. That's the same one. So. And it's in beautiful, beautiful condition. It's been used, it's been printed, but it hasn't been printed all that much. I mean, these were never, I mean, as I said now, if we had this in the shop, we would have trouble selling lots of copies of it. So they obviously, they never printed themselves an awful lot of copies of this, of these. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. The signature. Signatures in those days, of course, were carved into the block. I can't say upside down. Okumura Masanobu Shitsu. Okumura Masanobu Shitsu. Brush. This is backwards, of course. Masanobu would have designed it on paper, sent it to the carvers. The carvers carved the name and seal. Anyway, they got them in 3 sizes there. They have about 20 blocks of this large size. Then they had about a dozen blocks of a size about half this scale. If you imagine the same thing reduced to whatever, about a foot high and 5 inches wide or so. And then they had another dozen or so. I've got one of those. Of the same kind of prints, the same kind of designs in much, much smaller. Is this going to do this or not? Is this going to be too black? Is that going to focus? On this scale here, that's my fingers. Look at the scale on this one. This is way, way, way smaller scale than the block I'm carving right now. And there was a dozen or so of these. And of course he wants to sell this whole thing as a batch. So I could print these and sell them in the shop. We can print these, but they're almost not going to sell in the shop. But he wants the whole thing as a batch. And he's starting at around 15,000. And I guess maybe whatever he might take, I don't know, 10 or 12,000 for the thing. I don't know. So that's my question now. Doysan and I are thinking about this. Can we afford to invest? Excuse me, noisy paper. Put the mic back on. Can we afford to invest like $12,000 on something that will not bring us any return? You know, next to no return. Let me zoom in back where I am again. Excuse me. Oops. Where am I? Here. Is that where we are? Okay, back to normal. So what's the chat full of comments? Like stunning wow and stuff like this. Yes, yes, yes. We could ship them, we could roll them, you know. No, he's talking about $15,000 for the lot, for the 40 or so blocks that are there, of course. Of course. And I could imagine a few ways to do this. You know, we could do something like a Kickstarter campaign, you know, ask people to join it collect that money up, and then they'd get prints of some of these or whatever, you know. So it's sort of a way to do it. But, you know, I'm just not sure if it's something I should do. They're not blocks that really would be usable for our daily use and work here, you know. I'm 66. The more stuff I collect and get together, the bigger problem my kids are going to have, you know, when it's time for them to clean up and stuff here. If you know, if this business takes off or not, we don't know, you know. But if we don't take them, he's going to put them on auctions one by one by one, getting lower and lower and lower prices, I suppose, gradually. But they'll be dispersed all over the place, you know. I better turn off that light. It's buzzing in the microphone. You know, 15,000 or 10,000, whatever it is, it's no big deal, actually. You know, when you think of the possibilities of what could be done with this. You could take a video crew, documentary crew over there and, you know, make a nice small documentary about these things, talk about the history. We can even dig up, I know a guy, Asuka-san, who used to work for Takamisawa as a carver in the era just after this. So he could tell some great stories about the guys who carved these blocks, because they were his, they'd be the people who were his teachers. You know. It's possible he may have even worked on some of these as a new apprentice there, you know. So there's a bunch of stories we could tell. The problem is, you know, like $12,000. You know. Not quite sure how long the guy's willing to wait on this. You know, he's had them in here for years and years and years, 10 or 15 years. So he's now suddenly brought them out, and he was saying to us yesterday that he really wants to wrap this up before the end of the year. And whether that's just, you know, sales talk, whatever, or whether this is the reason why he's taking them out of storage now, is that he's got a money thing going on and he needs to get financed by the end of the year. You know, it's quite possible, of course. We all get in those situations. So that might be hype. It might not be hype. You know. And if it's not hype, then we've got to sort this out pretty much right now, you know. Another alternative for us would have been, you know, we've got the Patreon thing running very well, and the money is there smooth. And nominally, the first part of the Patreon is to pay for you know, Cameron, the new manager's wages and stuff, that's what it's been doing. And Cameron is still not productive yet in terms of earning money for us, but of course it's on the way, you know. So maybe what we could do is ask the Patreon people, after Cameron's been up and running, you know, by the end of the year, please continue for a while, and for the next few months we'll put your money towards this block project, you know, something like that. You know. But I don't know, buying blocks that won't become prints for the shop, you know, I'm not sure if that's sensible at all, you know. Was there a question a while back that I didn't catch up on? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to... No, I thought I had a question in the box, sorry. Yeah, the guy clearly would like to do this as a batch. He doesn't want to sit there auctioning one by one, shipping one by one. If we bought him from him in a batch, we just roll over there with a truck, pay him, and away we go. So from his point of view, of course. So what we've done is we've told him, okay, hang on a couple of days. And I have a meeting Thursday morning. I have to go and see my tax accountant for a bunch of stuff, just for end of year planning. Well, here's a question. Just after I check, then you put a question in the box. We got to go and see the tax accountant, not about this project, but just with reference to my end of year planning. I'm going to ask him about this. The problem, another problem from buying something like this is you can't just deduct the expense from income. I'm a, what do you call it, proprietorship. I'm not a company. And normally I declare the income that we get from print sales, of course, and I declare the expenses that it costs me to make them. When I, pay staff or buy paper or whatever, those are expenses deducted against the income. But you can't straight deduct things that are capital expenses. When I bought my house, I couldn't deduct the mortgage payments, If we bought a X $1,000 computer system, you can't do that. You have to depreciate it bit by bit, year by year. So whether these blocks would count as a direct expense on our business or whether they would have to be depreciated. And if they have to be depreciated, then we almost certainly can't afford to buy them because we need, at the end of the year here, to reduce our taxes, we would need to have that money go off as an expense, and it may not be permitted to do that. So I'll see what the tax guy says on Thursday. And that's going to help influence our decision. Well, it may make the decision for us. So. All right, there was a question. Let's have a look. It's a question. I'm not sure if my answer is any meaning. The gentleman's asking, how do I display my prints? And it's a mixed answer and a mixed question. I myself, I've got some, a little personal collection of prints that I've built up over the years, and I don't display them at all. The prints that I own were not bought for, decoration, for making my living room look warm or whatever it is that you want to do, by having something over your sofa. So for me, these things are not for display. I have drawers, I have portfolios, I have bookshelves. All the prints I own myself, they're out of sight. And they're for enjoyment when the moment comes. Somebody comes over or there's a specific reason. It's up, hey, I got something nice I want to show you. And out comes the particular portfolio or whatever, and away we go. Look at them, get a nice light, sit by the window where there's a nice light, look at the prints, and then put them away. And this actually is very much within the Japanese tradition. Traditionally, here in this country, there were no such things as frames. People didn't put pictures on the walls back in the Edo Meiji time. That only happened when they had the Western influence. There was, every home had an alcove, so you've heard about this, where they would have an alcove in their main room where a scroll would sometimes hang, flower arrangements would sit. So they did have a place to display images and pictures, but the stuff wasn't there permanently. It's up for a day, take it down, put it away, up for a week, whatever, when the flowers are in season, and away they go. And I work to that system too. I don't want the stuff on the wall in front of me all the time. You get a nice print from our shop or whatever, from anywhere. If you put it in a frame, put it in the wall, it's really cool. Look at this, wow, it's right there, Whether it's the Fox Moon from our heroes or the Great Wave or whatever. It looks really nice on your wall. And then a week later, you go by, you look up, it looks kind of nice, And then a month later, 2 months later, a year later, it's just become part of the background. You don't even see it anymore. So we ourselves, we really want to avoid having our work become generic wallpaper. But it's easy for us to say because we have tons of prints. I have, thousands of prints. My friend Doyson, he's got many, 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 many prints. So we have storage solutions we've bought and arranged for them. But a typical, somebody who buys one of our prints doesn't have that stuff. And the only easy answer for them is put it in a frame and put it in the wall, This is why with our subscription series, always we have a storage option, With most of our subscription series, there's a case or a box. So storing it and displaying it are built into the very method of subscribing in the first place, It's a storage box that sits on your desk, and the prints rotate. There's an order, first order of this session here. Thank you, if it's one of you guys. I doubt it, but whatever. So I said we build in storage solutions that when people subscribe to our prints, they don't have to think about this. They don't need to buy frames. They don't need to do anything. Just the storage is right there. Change it month by month by month as the new print arrives. But with the larger prints, the Ukiyo Heroes prints or the Great Wave or whatever, that's not an optimal solution. And these larger prints, the block I just showed you, suppose we did get these blocks and suppose we do pull some prints from them. What do you do with them? They're giant sized prints, a couple of feet tall, They're dramatic. They're really decorative. They would look great in any room. A frame would be a fortune, absolute fortune. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a frame for something that big, for a quality frame for something that big. Scroll mounting would be nice, so you can roll it up and put it away and bring it out and roll it up. But scroll mounting is even more expensive than framing these days. I just had some of my own scrolls mounted, and it's like $300 each for a decent mounting for a scroll, So as we looked at those blocks in that warehouse yesterday, we were thinking, how can we make useful, affordable products from these blocks? And we couldn't see a good solution for that. These lines are fun, I mentioned the other day of having fun carving these lines. They're really careless. Careless, that sounds like an insult. I know they're carefree. That's right, careless is the insult, carefree is the compliment, They're carefree lines, just swooped and swirled and splashed as pigment. They're really fun to carve these. Bit small scale, but can't be helped. do I ever cut myself? No, never. Not in 20 years or something. Two sounds. One is a question sound, one is a new subscription sound for you know what. Okay, wait, question. Two questions. Just a minute on that one. Okay, second one first. There's a print on our website, the Benkei Bridge design, and I think there might be some confusion here. Somebody wrote to me yesterday about asking one of our old Doihanga videos, and in one of those videos there was a picture, a print visible at the side of the video, but I didn't talk about it. It was one called Benkei Bridge, Benkei Bashi, published by the Doihanga Company. And it was a large print, one of the Oban size prints, like an A3 size print. And they asked me, can I have this? Do you have any? And I didn't have any at the moment, so I said no. And now this gentleman here, we know who you are, is asking about the same thing, and we do have it on our website in the postcard size. Again, these are Doihanga blocks. I didn't make a video about this. I can't make a video about every single print we put up on the website here. So we have that Benkei Bashi Bridge from Doihanga in two sizes. One is on the website in postcard size, Hagaki size. That's Cameron, I guess, coming in for work. And the one we don't have on the website, which at the moment we don't have in stock, is the Oban size of the same print. So sorry, confusing for the people who don't know what we're talking about here, but they are there. The Doihanga Company has the same designs in two sizes sometimes. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Did you find a better time?
No.
No, it's all the same.
But I'm okay.
There is one thing, I don't know if you know about this yet or not, but people on those trains, they cluster in certain carriages.
Yeah, I've been trying different cars.
So, because where the exits are, when I was going back and forth to Shinjuku the last couple of weeks, I learned that if I wanted to be able to get off the train right in front of where the stairs are at that transfer station, me and 5,000 other people have the same idea.
Yep.
So you can be first out, but the price to pay is your sardine.
Yeah.
Or get to the other end of the train. You got a long walk to the stairs, but there's more room in the carriage.
Yep.
So I don't know how that affects people who are getting off at Asakusa or
mostly Akihabara. They're on it the whole ride.
Well, what about Kitasenju and stuff? Don't a lot of people get off there?
Okay, there's a lot of change there, but a lot hold on all the way.
So it doesn't really affect you because you're getting off before that.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
But it made quite a bit of difference when you're going from here to the next one, to Okachimachi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do whatever. Coming along. So. If I had nothing else to do but this, I could do it in a couple of days. But I get 90 minutes a day. That's all I get on this, So.
But at least you're getting 90 minutes a day now.
So wonderful, yeah, wonderful. Anything interesting in the chat there?
Yeah. He said, I'm sure others have suggested this, and I know you've said plenty of times that you've been busy with just everyday functions at the shop. Some things need to wait. But have you considered taking these Twitch streams and breaking them into segments and uploading those onto YouTube? That way you could have daily uploads to YouTube, easily multiple daily uploads, and still stream, effectively killing two birds with one stone.
I know. I did a highlight, Nate. I know last month, at the end of last month, or at the end of September, I did a highlight reel. I don't want the YouTube channel to become,
Twitch repeats?
Yeah, just Twitch repeats. I want the YouTube channel to be curated, specifically made videos. I know another idea, open another YouTube channel just for the Twitch things, Many ways to do it. Here's a question. But I really would like the YouTube channel to be really carefully made, you know, carefully made videos rather than just dumps of this stuff, you know.
It could become overcrowded or
Yeah,
saturated.
yeah. I mean, Twitch is here. They're kept on the Twitch website for 2 weeks. There's no shortage of stuff to watch at any given moment, you know. And none of this thing that I'm doing on Twitch here, it's deathless stuff that needs to be preserved forever and ever, you know. Me and the people listening right now have a bit of a different viewpoint on this. I know. You know, when we started this a couple of months ago, I started to get videos, emails like, David, oh my God, you've got to preserve this. This has got to be preserved, you know. And this is what I do every day. It's what I've been doing for 40 years. You know, I don't have the sense that this is something that vitally needs to be preserved, you know. I get where they're coming from, that it would be cool to have stuff like this around. And we do. From now on, we are going to have stuff like this around, you know, on YouTube. And other people are preserving this, you know. So I don't think that this is all as special as a lot of these people think it's cracked up to be, you know. But I get what they're after, you know. So. But no, I don't want the YouTube channel just to become dumps of this stuff, no. Speaking of which, I've got to get the next video ready, you know. I'm way overdue now.
For a YouTube video.
Yes, for another good YouTube video, you know. So the reason it's not procrastination, it's the next one's going to be really difficult. I'm going to try another one of those, I know, in my mind they're called ramble videos.
The ramble videos.
You know, and they're really difficult because they came about sort of organically, just sitting down without knowing what was going to happen, you know. But now there's this pattern, 500,000 people are waiting for the next ramble video, you know.
Yeah. You're talking similar to the remembering.
Yeah, exactly.
Remembering a carver.
Yes, remembering the carver. That's the one. And there's lots more episodes. The guy who planed the woodblocks for me, you know, it's the same story.
Right.
I met the guy. He didn't want to spend time. We pushed a little bit, watched what he was doing. He dies. His wife gives me his stuff. It's exactly the same story. I should just take the same video and unplug the names and put a different name in. You know, I mean, how many times can I tell the same story before it gets to be a little, I don't know. It starts to be pretentious, and you know, but it's really happened. Again. Yeah, it really happened. So.
Do you want me to find that question for you, or should I head upstairs?
Oh, I better look at it and see what's going on. So, also, I know I got the SSL stuff, but it's the first step is easy, turning it on. Yeah. We now have a lot more work to do because all through the website. Well, actually, this is why I did JP just by itself last night. I didn't do woodblock.com. I didn't do Mokuhankan.com because we have all the links inside. And as soon as somebody follows one of those links, which is HTTP, it goes off and it doesn't come back on. Yeah. So we've got to go through and find all the, and that's what the problem Lisan had last night, is obviously he's got at least one HTTP in there, and that kills it. It goes back and forth. So it doesn't go back and forth, it goes back, and it doesn't come forth again. Right. So we have some work to do. But anyway, over to you guys.
All right, thanks.
At the moment, as I said, it's just JP.
Just JP, yeah.
Because what I'm also worried about is Google, I don't know, if I change Mokuhankan.com right now to the HTTPS, does that kill all of our Google links for the past 20 years? Or how do we tell Google that the site as a whole has suddenly changed? And all the links inside. So I've got to research that before I change that one.
Yeah, before we make that leap.
So at the moment it's just JP, which I don't care about for Google because there's nothing in there yet. But oh Jesus, comments. Big cartel, no way, but whatever, talk about that later. Okay. No, an offline shopping cart. And we control our own shopping cart. We will. Okay, where am I? Questions. Why am I carving with my left hand? The question is, why am I carving with my left hand?
Same reason I hold a pencil with my left hand.
So I kick a ball with my left hand. I hold a pencil. I know I'm left-handed. So
that's it.
There's nothing more complex about that question. You know, have I misunderstood something here? I'm not sure. You know. Yeah, we do a redirect. So
I do this for a living. Yay!
Yeah, well, just a bit of background there on the HTTPS thing. The boys here, Cameron-san and Aoyama-san, I gave them free reign to play with the Japanese side of our website because the shopping cart that I had built there, which I thought was a wonderful, glorious, fabulous, easy-to-use shopping cart, doesn't get any business at all. Zero. I mean, zero, zero, zero. Our overseas business is 96% of our business is overseas or something, and like 4% is domestic. So the guys have been rebuilding a Japanese website for us. They've gone with OpenCart, I think is what they're using. And they're now trying to figure out the payment APIs, and that, of course, needs a modern level of security. So last night I switched mokuhankan.jp to HTTPS, which we have never had on our sites before. And we're now going to explore what we have to do about Google redirects and all the other stuff. So we'll cut our teeth on this on the Japanese side first, and then once we've learned what to do, we'll apply it back to the mokuhankan.com, and then above that to the woodblock.com. So, and then woodblock.tokyo. Top secret.
Don't tell anybody. How many people are on here?
Does it show over here? What's that?
Does it show how many people are on at a time?
No, if I were on this, this is the broadcaster. So the broadcaster doesn't know. It's just putting it up there. I don't know what's looking. So these guys can see, I think, whatever. Oh, here it is. There's the answer. Dave carves his left hand because he is possessed by Satan.
Oh, confirmed.
So that happened. If that was true, it happened before I was born. But whatever. So. Yeah, I mean, not to be sarcastic. I'm sorry. I know I'm a lefty. I carve left-handed. There's not really much else to say about that. It's not all of a benefit. And if you're a printer wanting to print on traditional blocks here, which have registration marks designed for right-handed people, being a lefty is a real handicap. For a carver, it doesn't matter. As long as you get the right knife, the lines, any given line on the block is ambidextrous, so it doesn't matter. But for a printer, it's a very different story. If a young person came here who was a lefty and said, that's it, I'm determined to become a really top-quality ukiyo-e printer, I would say, sorry, you're in the wrong place, and just go home.
So do you print right-handed?
No, I print left-handed, but I didn't know how difficult it was, and over the years, spending 30 years of, bashing myself against it. And honestly, I am not a printer. I can print, I can do it. I printed glorious prints, but I'm not all day long bang, 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 professional knock-it-out printer. There's really a handicap. Really a handicap. And I just didn't know how difficult it was when I started. It wouldn't have made any difference anyway, just go for it. But I would not hire somebody now left-handed to be a printer. No. Too many negatives.
My dream job's out of my reach now. Just teasing. Okay, well, I'll get out of here.
So you guys have got work to do today, I think, right? And I don't think there's anything else I can do at that end. What it was, I don't know if you know. It was two stages. And I first had to just turn it on at the server. That was just turning it on.
Right.
There's no money involved or anything.
Okay.
But you have to buy certificates for this, so I bought a basic level of certificate just so we can run through and do this. And it wasn't expensive. It used to be much, much more expensive than this. And now it's just trivial.
Oh, that's good.
So it's not a financial burden. It's going to be an organizational. No, nothing.
Okay. I'll see you later. Go get cracking.
Okay, missing most of what's going on here, but the usual way. Yeah, better shop, the website, the website. It's not perfect. The thing about our web shop, though, I'm speaking at the moment now about the Western side one, the mokuhankan.com, not the Japanese one, There's a couple of ways to look at it. You could look at it as being clunky, funky, old-fashioned, whatever. But actually it's bringing us, we're making a living off it. So we have to really be careful how we muck around with stuff like that. It's doing great business. And not only is it doing great business, it's doing as much business as we can handle. So there's always this factor, when I get this very, very frequently. People write to me emails, Dave, let me take over your website. I can triple your business in months, It's not our goal, and we can't scale up the manufacturing. So it sounds a bit funny, the website is funky and interesting and difficult to use and all these things together. But we are not looking to optimize to become Amazon. We can't make prints any faster than we're making them. So in a way, the website, with its little bit funky approach and everything else, is a kind of a filter that helps us survive. So it's bringing business. People can do their shopping. They get the prints they want. And we couldn't really handle a whole lot more than what we've got there, So both things are true. I would like it to be better. I would like it to be more modern. I would like it to be more efficient. But if it was all of those things, we wouldn't be able to handle what it gave to us, So some paradoxes here. I'm sorry, people very much give us advice, Dave, let me handle your website. I can build a better website. And I know you could build a better website, but I don't think I could handle a better website. It's a real paradox of our business here, And also, too, if we were too modern and flash, I don't mean flash programming, I mean modern and flashy and stuff, it doesn't really fit our ethic or who we are. And the reason I gave those guys the go-ahead to change the Japanese one is because clearly Japanese, if any of you have looked at Japanese shopping sites and stuff, you'll see they're absolutely, totally different from what they are in the West. They're a chaotic, freaking mess, and it seems to be that's what Japanese people want. I don't know. If you go to a Yahoo shopping site or the Rakuten shopping mall or whatever, any designer, web designer, will just faint with disgust about what these sites look like. So we made one that was cleaner and simpler and more beautiful, and we don't get any business, I think that was a question, wasn't it? Oh, 2 questions again. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, somebody's asking, would it be acceptable if I captured these streams and edited myself? I know, I got no problem. Oh, it says William. Yeah, William. Capture and take what you want. I know, the only thing that I find bothers is when people download my YouTube videos and upload them to their own channel, just basically stealing videos, whatever. If there's something here that you see that's useful for you, cut it, save it, cut it, copy, paste it, put it into your own video. Maybe check with me first, Dave. I'm going to upload this tomorrow. Is it okay? Yeah, go for it. Anything that's to do with research or training or talking or teaching or whatever, I'm not going to hold and grab copyright. Don't touch my stuff. I don't do that. I got criticized, a month ago or so because somebody had uploaded one of my videos in whole to YouTube, and I asked YouTube to take it down because that's not fair. But if you're going to cut and paste and copy and paste and take some pieces, do it. You forgot the question, it says here. Yeah, give me a break here. You know my limit, 30 seconds or so. Someone's asking, do I learn anything new when carving and printing? When's the last time someone taught you something you'd wish you had known since you started? Blah, 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 blah. That's a tough one, I know. That's a tough one, isn't it? If you're talking specifically about technical stuff about carving and things like that, then no, I'm not really learning anything these days. The work that I've been carving now for the past few years is much, much simpler in scope than stuff I was doing when I was a solo craftsman, because I used to really take on difficult, challenging projects. So at the bench now, I'm not learning anything, not at all. Now it's just trying to catch up. I'm rusty trying to catch up, you know. There's nothing on my bench here that I haven't done before many, 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 many times. In business and in life, it's a different story. Of course, this whole thing we're doing now with our business is dramatically different from anything I've done before. I used to be a solo craftsman. Now I'm a boss with whatever it is, 18, 19. I don't even know how to count any more people. So yeah, I'm learning and stumbling and struggling through all that stuff. But at the bench, no. And we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, I guess, on Twitch. And I do have projects I would like to do and like to take on. You know, at the moment, I'm needed here to sort of help catch up with this work. But as our business here moves forward, there's 3 other people here now carving, you know. As our business moves forward, if the other carvers can take most of the burden from the carving the Mokuhankan work, if people like Cameron and the other employees can bit by bit take on the administration work of our business, then I have a bunch of projects, physical printmaking projects that I would like to do that are more difficult than I've ever done before. So yeah, I'm not dead yet. I would like to really do some difficult projects. At the moment, I don't have the freedom to do that. And it's kind of a race against time. Can we build Mokuhankan to a stable situation before I'm too old to do the kind of wonderful printmaking projects that I would like to do? I don't know. Well, partly the octopus print is one of those, you know. That's not a trivial print. That's a difficult print. And when I try doing that here, whenever it's going to be, next week, next month, that's going to be a challenge for sure. But the daily work here nowadays, no, this is, if I said trivial, it's an insult. It's stuff that I've done many, many times. This is routine, you know. Which is fun. I got no, you know. I don't think every job you do has got to be, oh my God, I'm going to challenge myself to see how I can do something I've never done before. We can't do that on a daily basis, I don't think, you know. There's got to be X%. You get into a routine, you do some steady, stable work, and every once in a while you need a shake up, you know. Right now it's not a shake up I need, it's just I need more time, steady practice time. These leggings, you know, Jed would have drawn these in like literally seconds. Down, then across. Literally seconds. It wouldn't have taken him more than, whatever, seconds to do each one of these legs. And I'm, you know, spending a couple of hours carving them. But That's okay, because once this job is done and we start printing, bang, away it goes. We're back to this. Bang, bang. It takes seconds to print them, There's the question sound. Just a moment. Relief cut. It's a nice sharp knife today. Got a good sharp one this morning. So. Is this an electron microscope? No, it's a stereoscope. We can't see bugs and stuff here. What are we talking about? Theme songs? I don't know. Just a minute. I can't catch that. There was a question. Yeah, the related question about the thing I was talking about, the guy who's selling all those old blocks. Lost my microphone. The guy who's selling those old blocks, the wood itself has huge value to us. The wood is in wonderful condition, 50 years old, nicely aged. The back side of them hasn't been used. It is theoretically possible that we could just buy those blocks plain off the front or just use the back and use them as raw material. We could do that. I mean, the price that's being asked is way too much to use them in that form. And also, it would be kind of a cultural, I can't destroy these blocks. As I said, it's a level of craftsmanship that is gone from the world now. We certainly couldn't just rip these things up and chew them up, Using just the back side, yeah, that's possible. It'd be a bit clumsy. These blocks are physically large to sit on the desk. If we're carving small prints on that big wide expanse, it wouldn't really be easy and practical. But, there's a related story about that, There's a place here in Tokyo called Wood-like Matsumura. They're supplying wood blocks. After the last woodblock craftsman died in 1999, Matsumura-san started producing a new type of block, like the one I'm carving right now. It's cherry with a plywood, inside, cherry veneer with plywood inside. They're quite stable. And one of those other reproduction companies, Adachi, I mentioned them before, it's maybe the main #1 ukiyo-e reproduction company. They started back in the Taisho era, 1920s. And they've been going since then, right through the war. They're still in existence. And they have tens and tens and tens of thousands of wood blocks. Some of which, of course, are in use, some of which are nearly worn out, some of which must be basically worn out. And if you go back now about 10 years ago, they decided to rebuild their physical building. They had been in the same building since they started, a big old-fashioned building over in Mejiro in Tokyo. And in and around it and in the backyard and in storage rooms, they just had blocks and blocks and blocks everywhere. And when it came to time to rebuild their building, they must have done some kind of inventory. And they must have done some kind of reckoning. This block's useful, this is not, it's worn out too much. This is useful, this is worn out too much. And they came up with hundreds. And I saw the stack. It must have been about, 500 pieces of wood or something like that. Blocks that had either been worn out too much or they were for designs that they didn't think they could sell anymore. And these were blocks that were not the plywood type of blocks. These were the original, chunks of wood. Piece of wood about not quite an inch thick, carved on one or both sides, but no longer practical for use in their business. So they got a truck and sent them all over, 500 or so of them. Sent them over to Matsumura-san's place, the guy who makes these new bondage dies. And they told him, plane them all off. Plane off the carving on the front, plane off the carving on the back. Just leave the raw inside piece of the cherry. Be about 1/4 inch, 5 millimeters, something like that. And then use those very, very thin pieces, bond them to the top and bottom of a piece of plywood, and bingo, we'll have a new usable block made with wonderful antique cherry. And I saw it. I didn't see the whole process, but I saw that just after the truck was unloaded, these blocks were just tumbled and thrown and randomly tossed into a corner of Matsumura-san's workspace. A stack of about 500 or so wood blocks. At this point now all smashed up because they weren't trying to take care of the carving, you know. They just jumbled them up in a pile. And it was just like, oh my God, what a treasure trove this would be, you know. I mean, this was their business decision. They weren't usable anymore as printing blocks, but the history there, like it's decades and decades and decades of the history of this company. And of course I couldn't touch it. I couldn't say, look, can I have some of these? Can I preserve some of these? It's none of my business. The Adachi is not my business, of course, you know. But over the course of that next couple of weeks, while Matsumura-san planed them off, every one of those blocks must have just gone into his planer. And all that carving was chopped off and became wood shavings on the floor, you know, right from 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Remembering that is one of the things that makes me think about these blocks I'm looking at now, the blocks we saw yesterday, you know, Dave, you know, don't let that happen to these, you know, those carvers. Just get these things and put them in your own storeroom and just try and keep some of those old carvers' work preserved and protected, you know. Because these blocks, the new ones, the ones we're looking at now, they're not totally worn out, you know, they're still fine. So that's another factor in my mix about how much I offer this guy next week, you know. How much social responsibility do I have to try and preserve some of this stuff, you know. But still, you know, like $10,000. Oh, Jed's here again. Jedson, I'm dying hearing this. What are you hearing? I don't know what you're talking. The blocks and stuff? What? Oh, the Adachi blocks. The Adachi blocks, yeah. Whatever, you know, I mean, blocks take up a huge amount of space, and this is not trivial. What do? I have the same problem myself, you know, back in my house in Ome. If we go back to the year 2000, I was living in what they call a 3DK in Japan, a 3DK apartment, you know, 3 rooms and a dining kitchen. And by then my kids were gone. It was just me. But, you know, I couldn't even sleep. I had to sleep. There's a bunch of blocks stacked on the floor, and I put a mattress on top of them and slept on that and cleaned it up each morning, you know. Blocks take up huge amounts of room. And Adachi, with all those years of history, there's no question. They had no choice, really. They had to get rid of those things. I'm sure many of them were actually still usable, still printable, but they just had no choice. There's no room. And maybe at some point the same thing's going to happen to the Mokuhankan blocks, you know. The blocks for the print series I did myself, the My Solitudes prints, each one of those takes like 7 or 8 blocks, and there's 12 in the series. And it's a huge stack of blocks back at my house now, and it never gets used, never gets looked at. Probably somewhere along the line, the same is going to happen. They're over to the dump. Jed-san, your print's coming along well here, you know, all these leggings and stuff. It's fun to carve, all these swoop, 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 back and forth brush strokes, you know. I'm having a ton of fun with this one. I sent the tracing for the second print in next year's series over to Kawasaki-san a couple of days ago. She phoned me back and said, "What?" She thinks it's too detailed and too delicate. I just said, "Hey, this is it. You know, you're gonna carve the key block, sweating, but the color blocks are going to be easy. So don't panic, you know." And she hasn't seen the color separations yet, so she didn't believe me. But all she saw was a key block full of fine, delicate detail. You know, and she literally said, "What?" Has anybody seen this, or should I pop it up for a chance here? The print that I'm carving right now. Jed's here, so you can look at it. Where are we here? Can I pop this up? Bingo. Here we are. Here's the image that I'm carving at the moment. You can see our friend, the unhappy blacksmith, or whatever he's called. It's going to be back to 1 a month for next year, and the price is going to be much, much lower. And I think I've pretty much already decided. It's going to be, I think, $25 a month plus postage, I think. Simple, clean prints. They're going to be size. Well, you can see how big they are. And this is the first one in January. There'll be postage on top of that. I think it'll be $240 or $250 for the postage on top of that, I think. And we want a ton of subscribers this year. The printers upstairs, they're really nervous about this, actually. Last year we did 2 prints each month. You know, they made them as a single object. You saw the videos. And there were many colors. It was careful printing. They worked slowly and carefully. And what I'm proposing to them now is like dropping the price almost by half, which means the printer's royalty, the printer's revenue will be almost half. They get paid per copy, you know, based on a percentage of what they sell for. So what I'm asking them to do is take half the revenue. I mean, get half what they did this year. And in response, in exchange for that, they're going to have to work twice as fast. And they're like, wait a minute, what's in this for me? I have to make twice as many prints and I get paid only half as much for each one. And the reason we hope it's going to work is because the prints are much, 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 much simpler. You know. Last year, some of those yokai prints were so detailed. Colors had to be so carefully applied. The one they're doing right now, the photobomb print, they're not struggling with it, but they're really, really, really having to do it very carefully. And I'm now proposing, sit back, get your bearings out and go bang, 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 bang. Jed's given us prints that we can mass produce much more easily. Whether this is all going to work out or not, I don't know. But we're going to give it a try. The prints are still going to be beautifully made. I mean, we don't, you know, I'm not suggesting they're going to be slapped out. We're not going to compromise on that. The girls are going to have to move much, much faster. Okay, what's the time? We're getting towards the end. So what I should do is, earlier in the stream here, I showed you one of those blocks that I was looking at, thinking about buying. Let me do that again, but let me change the camera angle so I can show you this thing in full size. I'm going to have to take my mic off and clip it up where I can see it from the other side of the room. So just a second. Hang on a second. Let me get the block, then I'll rotate the camera, the computer here around. 1 second. do this without breaking everything. Okay, where's my glasses? Let me try this. I can switch the viewpoint here. There we go. Light on. Okay, here's the wood. Here's one of the prints from that warehouse yesterday. I bought 2 of these already from Yahoo Auction 3 or 4 weeks ago. There are 19 more of these over in that warehouse that we saw yesterday. Cherry wood, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cherry wood. The kind of wood you can't buy now for love or money. Literally impossible. I can't hold it so it rings. It actually rings. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of cherry. And it's black, so it's going to be difficult to show you. Earlier in the stream, I linked to it. Maybe somebody could link to it again. This is a print designed by Okamura Masanobu. It's a woman in kimono holding up a toy. It looks like a horse and a toy. And it's a stunning, stunning thing. If I can maybe, will it focus or is it just too? Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. So we can see it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful carving. And like I said, I've got 2 of them here now, and there's 19 more over there. There's another dozen, about half that size, and there's another 8 or 9 that are this size. Good morning, Shiba-san. Hello. Yeah, it doesn't show, it just shows black. Here we go. I put it up on the light here. Is that going to show? No, not good light. Anyway, there we are. So I have to decide now whether to invest pretty much all of our savings at the end of the year here in picking up these blocks or not. This is the design, that last one. So there we go. Shiba-san, did you see? Look, 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 look. Hey. Takamizawa no hangi.
それどうしたんですか？
昨日埼玉県のに住んでる人の倉庫を見て、40枚あります。
すごいですね。高見沢の？
そう、高橋さん、会社がなくなったんですね。Anyway, there we are. I'd better get going. It's now 9:26. Shiba-san's here. We got a party at 10 o'clock to get started. There we go. What's today? Today's Wednesday. You can see with the block, I'm still busy on it. There's no way this is going to be finished soon. So I've got days more work on this block. Now you can see the size. Next year's series. Now it's going to be about the print will fit on this block. So it'll be about this size. It's about 16 centimeters high by about 13 centimeters wide. They're going to be, I think, $25 each plus postage. It's a lightweight theme. They're gags, but the prints are going to be drop dead beautiful. We intend to make a ton of them, make them as beautifully as we can, and have a lot of fun along the way. There we are. Tomorrow morning I'll be back here, same time, same station, carving again on that block. Thanks for watching, gang. Is Jed still there? Okay, whatever. Anyway, I'll talk to Jed later. Thanks, gang. Okay, bye-bye. See you soon. Where's my microphone? I forgot.